MBI Youth and Community Development Services Providers.
Lights, camera, action.
Morale Builders Inc. proudly presents the MBI TV Showcase.
This is another Morale Builders Inc. TV Showcase coming to you.
Wait.
When you ready.
I'm gonna get your hand.
Everybody repeat after me. Ready? Ready, George? One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Thank you. Welcome to the UNIA, if I can have seats. Welcome to the UNIA-ACL Garvey and Krumah Memorial Progressive Division 429 second annual art show 2018. Our last one we did at Southside Community Art Show at 38th in Michigan, I believe. Georgia Johnson and myself hooked that up. And it was very nice, just like this is. But this is more home. You like this. This is more sweet. And we had to thank Sister Dr. Beverly Norman for assisting us and helping us in this event, because it's really, I love it. It's just some amazing art here. And she's going to get all into that right now. I just want to do the opening and the after the president, Clyde Banks. He's in D.C. because of the snow. He couldn't get out, like around the world. So, with that being said, Dr. Beverly Norman.
Hi. Welcome, everyone. Those of you who've never been here before, the young people especially, welcome. We have been together for about 35 years providing counseling, leadership, gifted training, and art history and art lessons to the Chicago community and especially to South Shore. Today we are thrilled to be able to do something with the Marcus Garvey group that has supported us for many years. And supported all of the black leaders. And I asked Mary Boda when she made arrangements for this particular workshop to do a little speaking on her organization too. But Rawls Institute provides free services in Chicago public schools and other places for children and for young adults in leadership positions. They get interns, they get a chance to come here and become interns studying under artists. We have our art director here, Gerald Sanders, who's been with us for about 20 years. One of the best artists in the world.
Yes, he is.
And we're going to take a look at some of his things shortly. And I hope everybody will have a chance to say something. We have very important people here from our staff, and some of us are members of UNIA and Rawls Institute, and that makes it very interesting. We have Dr. Turner here, who's he supervises our interns, and he volunteers, and he works on our board of directors. We have Cecile Jones, who is an intern for the past year in our counseling department. We have Professor Howard Wiley, who does administrative support services for Rawls Institute, and also he teaches young adults when we have specialized programs. So I'd like to say that most of the art that you see down here, or much of it, has been done by AfriCobra artists. That's a group of artists that started in 1967. They were part of the Cultural Revolution, that period of time right after the Civil Rights Movement, when we began moving more towards self-determination. And you see a lot of AfriCobra art. You see children's art mixed in with the AfriCobra art. We have a lot of art by Gerald Sanders and some of the real popular artists here in Chicago, and some of them are all over the country now. But welcome, and I'd like to show Mary Boda something and have her say a few words. Okay. I have a new work of art. Here it is. And I wanted to show it.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
The first time that it has been framed.
All right. I like that. Who's the artist?
The artist is Lloyd Davis.
Lloyd Davis?
Lloyd Davis passed away, and he presented this to me. He was a neighborhood artist, a very, very good artist.
It's
and
charcoal, isn't it?
he,
Pencil.
it's a combination. It looks like charcoal.
Charcoal and
yes,
pencil, yeah. Accentuated line.
So
The camera wants
I'm
to
very happy to have it finally framed.
Thank you.
And I want Mary to say something about Marcus Garvey. And
Secretary
something,
General.
just a
You
little,
sit down,
this is
Mom.
a Secretary General
Sit. Be comfortable.
of the UNIA.
Well, Marcus Garvey, the biggest, greatest man in my life right now. And as always, since I met him through Mr. James, 1975. This starts my 42nd year of being a member of the UNIA. And it's my 16th year of being Secretary General. And my 20th year of being on the parent body of the UNIA. So Marcus Garvey, of course, was asking as a child, where is the black man's kingdom? Where is his king? Where is his queen? Where is his big man of affairs? And he looked around and he said, I can't see them. I can't find them. He says, but I'll help make them. He started out in Kingston. He was a part of the strike at the place where he worked. He was a foreman right away as a youngster, not even 20 years old. And he began to say, there must be some black men somewhere, big men of affairs. So he went to Costa Rica, he went to Panama, he traveled. He would make a little money and then get on the boat and travel. And everywhere he went, he saw the black man was the last hired, and the first fired. He says that's got to change. So he went to London. He met Dusay Muhammad when he was there, Ali. And he said he learned about African students who came to London. And he learned all about the African people and what they needed. Even though he never got to Africa, they never allowed Garvey to get to Africa. Because Garvey says when Garvey gets to Africa, the white man has to pack his bag and leave. And they asked Garvey, what part of Africa do you want? He says, every damn inch of it. He says, Africa for the Africans. Those at home and those abroad. Garvey created the African fundamentalism. And he said, we should be not ashamed of ourselves because we have great heroes and sheroes like everybody else. And he said, when they laugh at you, return the favor. This is what he said. And his greatest enemy at the time when he was in the United States was probably 2 or 3. He had about, they called them the Gang of 8, who actually conspired and was against him. But one of his main enemies was W.E.B. Du Bois. Now you all got to realize W.E.B. Du Bois was trained by this European here in this country. They knew what he was going to do. They trained him. They did not know what Garvey was going to do. So they didn't pay any attention to him. W.E.B. Du Bois, that little ugly, short black man. And they spent time in their different periodicals fussing and fighting with each other. He said, I said I wasn't going to waste much more time dealing with W.E.B. Du Bois. He said the NAACP He said, that's the group National Association of Certain People. He said, ain't not. He said he went to the office to try to see what help he could get. He found mostly lights and almost whites there. And he realized that there was something wrong with W.E.B. Du Bois in his thinking. A lot of people don't know this, but in 1963, when we had the March on Washington, with Dr. Martin Luther King, W.E.B. Du Bois was in Africa, writing the Africana Papers. And he said, if he had to live his life over again, he would do exactly what Marcus Garvey said. Only if the W.E.B. Du Bois followers, the founders of NAACP, and some of those scholars, if they had heard that, if they knew that, would they have changed? I mean, we waste a lot of time as black people. Garvey knew what to do. He said, we got to come together and be a racial empire. So he organized the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, along with his first wife, Amy Ashwood Garvey, in Kingston, Jamaica. And of course, they didn't stay married long. But you know what? It was something amazing about Mr. Garvey. He liked Capricorn women, because he married 2 of them. And he liked women born under whose name was Amy. Both of his wives were named Amy. One was Amy Ashwood, and one was Amy Jocks Garvey. And do you know Mrs. James, Mrs. Estelle James, the wife of the Honorable Charles L. James, who was my teacher, my mentor, said to me and said to many others in the room, she said she was going to go to her grave with a letter she got from Amy Ashwood about Amy Jocks. But of course, you know, the old people didn't tell the bad things that happened. They would let you learn and grow in the movement. They didn't just tell you all the bad things about everybody. But it's just a wonderful thing to be here, to have these young people here today, and wish we had more. But I guess the snow made a lot of them stay home. But you know, UNIA, we don't cancel. You know, we just go on. We move straight forward. So when we plan a program, the only way we don't get there is we stop breathing. And Mr. James set that example. Never missed a meeting, even when he was in the hospital. I went to see that man speak because I knew he was going to look for UNIA people. When we went to Kwanzaa program, it didn't matter if there were thousands of people. He was going to be looking for 429. And I was one of the main 429 people. That's how I met my last husband, who made his transition in 2013 on Valentine's Day, August 14th. I went to the center on Wabash, at the Hayes Center. That's where they used to have Kwanzaa. It was the last day of Kwanzaa, but it was the first day of January. So I had a chance to meet him and learn all about what he knew and learned from Hammurabi. And Hammurabi was a good friend of Mr. James. They both went to the trial. And you know, at the trial, Judge Mack, a European, was a member of the NAACP, and he was the main one, you know, calling the shots. So Mr. Garvey fired his lawyer and tried himself. And of course, they sent Mr. Garvey out of the, you know, they sent him to prison first. And then later on, he was deported. He wasn't just deported. So many thousands of people marched in the streets. And Calvin Coolidge got scared and decided he would let Garvey go back to Jamaica. And Mrs. James told me the story of how everybody was just there at the port waving goodbye to Mr. Garvey. Because even though they said he was a crook and he did a lot of things that were wrong, and he wanted to take everybody back to Africa, that wasn't what Mr. Garvey wanted to do. Garvey was sure. He sent engineers, intelligent scientists to Africa. And the land that, what's the name of this company? Oh, you all know it, Firestone. Firestone ended up getting the land that was promised to the UNIA because one person lied to Garvey. King, his name was King. He was the president of Liberia. But today, we have a President General, the Honorable Michael R. Duncan, whose brother-in-law was just elected president of Liberia. And one of the young brothers who came to one of our meetings in Philadelphia has just been elected mayor of Monrovia. And as Mr. Duncan said in one of his speeches at a recent convention, he said in 1920, they weren't ready for us. He said, but 2020, they will be ready. In 2014, 2016, 2018, it is now our time. So with that, I will end my remarks. Thank you very much.
And now we'll have Sister Georgia Johnson, the lady president. You're welcome. Georgia.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary. I would like to dedicate my portion to the children. First, I want to say I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very inspired, Lady President of Division 429. And I would like a couple of the children to come up front to receive something.
You too.
Angela and Amir.
Let's go.
Just step up here.
She wants you to come up there.
And what I'd like to do, I'm going to read a short story called What If There Were No Black People in the World? But the reason I have you come up here now, fellows, stand here. I just want to give you something. Since we are doing an art tour today, and the programs that we have are not necessarily all art, although we did have an art tour last year, and then we may do different tours, maybe something else in our Black history, something else, and then we may even ask the youth some of the things that they like to see us do. So for today, take some goodies home. Take some goodies home. And we have a whole box of them. So since we didn't have a lot of children today, you come back and get some extra goodies for your friends and family.
All right.
But for now, I just want to thank these two youth, and I'm going to just say to them, before we do our story. It's so cute.
Angela.
Okay, just stand for me while I serenade you one verse of this. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easy. You better give me a smile. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, my youth. Thank you, darling. Thank you so much. All right. This is a story called What If There Were No Black People in the World? And everybody has a card with some of these people on there. And when I call it out, you just hold up your card, but you will write on the back what these people invented. That's kind of the end of the story. This story is of a little boy named Michael who woke up one morning and asked his mother, "Mom, what if there were no black people in the world?" Well, his mother thought about it for a few minutes, and then she said, "Son, follow me around today and let's just see what it would look like if there were no black people in the world." So Mom said, "Now, go get dressed and we will get started." So Michael ran to his room and put on his clothes, put on his clothes and shoes. And his mother took one look at him and said, "Michael, where are your shoes? And those clothes are so wrinkled, I must iron them." But when she reached for the ironing board, it was no longer there. You see, Sarah Boone, a black woman, invented the ironing board. Who has Sarah Boone?
Just right on there, invented the ironing board. That's all you do. Okay, next. And Jan E. Matswinlinger, a black man, invented the shoelacing machine. Okay, whoever has that. Just right on the back, the shoelacing machine. Oh, well, she said, please go and do something with your hair. So Michael ran to the room to comb his hair, but the comb was not there. You see, Walter Salmons, a black man, invented the comb. So somebody will write on the back of their card that Walter Salmons invented the comb. So we'll just move on from there. So Michael decided to go brush his hair, but the brush was gone. You see, okay, I'm on the brush. I'm getting excited, everybody. Okay, but the brush was gone. You see, Lydia O. Newman, a black female, invented the brush. Okay, just write that. Invented the brush. Well, this was a sight. No shoes, wrinkled clothes, your hair's a mess. Mom's hair, the hair care invention, Madam C.J. Walker. There you go. Well, you get the picture. All right. Mom told Michael, let's do your clothes around the house, and then let's take a trip to the grocery store. So Michael's job was to sweep the floor. But he swept, and he swept, and he swept. When he reached the dustpan, it was not there. No dustpan?
You gotta have a dustpan.
You see, Lloyd P. Ray, a black man, invented the dustpan. So he swept his pile of dirt over in the corner and just left it there. He then decided to mop the floor. But the mop was gone. You see, Thomas W. Stewart invented the mop. Just right on the back. All right. Michael yelled to his mom, Mom, I'm not having any luck. Well, son, she said, let me finish washing these clothes and we will prepare a list for the grocery store. When they were finished, she went to place the clothes in the dryer. But it was not there. You see, George T. Salmon, a black man, invented the clothes dryer. All right. So Mom asked Michael to get a pencil. Okay, we got a cell phone situation.
That's my brother.
New technology, ladies and gentlemen. It'll go away in a minute.
That's your phone. That's your phone.
That's her phone.
Okay.
We can edit that out.
Maybe you can edit that.
We can Photoshop that out.
Okay. Mom asked Michael to go get a pencil and some paper to prepare their list for the market. So Michael ran for the paper and pencil, and he noticed the pencil lead was broken. Well, he said, I'm out of luck, because Hone Love, a black man, invented the pencil sharpener. All right. So Mom reached for her pen, but it was not there, because William Purvis, a black man, invented the fountain pen. They made their way over to the car and found that it just wouldn't go. You see, Richard Spikes, a black man, invented the auto gear shift, and Joseph Gamble invented the supercharger system. They noticed that a few cars were not moving, and they were running into each other and having wrecks because there were no traffic signals. You see, Garrett A. Morgan, a black man, invented the traffic light.
I got him.
Well, it was getting late. So they walked to the market and they got their groceries and they returned home. Just when they were getting ready to put away the milk and the eggs and the butter, they noticed the refrigerator was gone. You see, Honorable Standard, a black man, invented the refrigerator.
Yes, Lord.
So she just left the food on the counter. By this time, Mike noticed that it was getting mighty cold, and Mom went over to turn up the heat. Well, what do you know? Alice Parker, a black female, invented the heating furnace. Even in the summertime, they were out of luck because Frederick Jones, a black man, invented the air conditioner. So it was almost time for Mike's father to arrive home. He usually takes the bus, but when there was no bus, what he decided to do, that was back then, it was the electric trolley. So he invented another, he invented the electric trolley. That was Albert R. Robinson.
Yes.
So he usually takes the elevator from his office, so on the 20th floor, but there was no elevator because Alexander Miles, a black man, invented the elevator.
All right.
So he usually drops off at the office, the mailbox, at the nearby mailbox, because it was no longer there because Philip Downing, a black man, invented the letterbox. And the mail drop box was William Barry.
I get William Barry.
He invented the postmarking and canceling machine.
I got that.
All right, here we go. So we say, what if there were no black people in the world? All right, so Mike and his mother, we're almost done. Mike and his mother sat at the kitchen table with their heads held down low. When the father arrived, he asked, "Why are you sitting in the dark?" Why? Because Lewis Howard Latimer, a black man, invented the filament within the light bulb.
Lewis.
Yay.
Not Einstein.
Not Einstein, somebody say.
That's right.
So Mike quickly learned what it would be like if there were no black people in the world. Not to mention, if he were ever sick and needed blood, Charles Drew, a black scientist, found a way to preserve and store blood, which led to his starting the world's first blood bank. So people are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and they shine when the sun is out. But when darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is light from within.
All right.
Race first.
Black power.
Race first.
Black
Lawrence has
power.
a question.
No, I don't have a question. I have a statement. I will. Her family's bloodline, for whatever, I cannot, I'm 76 or so, I don't remember details. But her family's bloodline was the blood, they used their blood to process blood so that we could use it now and, preserve it.
Right.
Her family's black, she's black.
Right.
From a black family.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
We had to research that.
In 2018, we are still finding out.
Things about
Still
Indeed.
finding
About
out.
black people. That's right.
What, how many years now? 400, 500 years now?
Yeah.
We're still finding out. Just like we just found out the ladies, what was the ladies that went up in this development
sky.
to the spaceship?
Hidden figures.
Hidden figures.
Well kept secret.
We just found out.
Mathematicians, scientists, brilliant black women.
That's
Brilliant.
amazing. So,
That was such an amazing.
I love that movie. Everybody seen that movie?
Yeah.
Hidden Figures?
Said, I'm not
Hidden
coming down until
What's
she
it called?
checks it.
Hidden Figures.
hidden figures. We
Any-
just found that out.
Any idea of the two people named Salmon? Were they related in any way? Like George invented the clothes dryer, and there was another person named Salmon.
Is that salmon?
Salmon. They were.
So
But
we,
the
we,
related
we,
name
the
is-
good idea news, but so I gave you the name. Now we can further look things up.
Indeed.
And
Research.
once we look them up, we might find some other things that they
Absolutely.
invented that we still, So and then there was a couple that were not highlighted that I read, and I said, ooh, so I'm gonna make some more cards. And make sure.
So what I like to do,
Put this camera on this woman right here with this pretty purse.
Yvonne Bennett. Yvonne Bennett.
Yvonne Bennett. Would you stand up, Yvonne Bennett?
Please.
You might be a doctor or something. I don't want to
Sure she is.
pass you by without recognizing that at this institute, huh?
Not a doctor.
You're not Dr. Barack. I'm with the
Nice
UNIA.
to,
She hasn't recruited you
Yvonne
yet, but I'm gonna give her the with us. Now, can that post is in the way? Can you see us? Okay. All right. Educator. A room full of educators. Why? Because if our race doesn't know better, they won't do better. So we have to make sure that we have the educators on our side. Now sometimes we have to educate the educators. We have to expose them to things that they weren't exposed to. W.E.B. Du Bois went to Harvard, but he didn't get a dose of Marcus Garvey until he came out of Harvard. In other words, we got to get exposed to the right philosophy that guides and directs our race. And so educators can be educated too. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you say something in behalf of your friend?
Well, I've known Beverly for many years. Her children went to Bryn Mawr, and we've discussed things that we've worked on things together through the years. And just recently, she asked me to join Raw Institute as the treasurer. But I've had quite a few things to have happened from October through now. So I was not able to do it, but I'm here today to start.
Thank you.
All right, and before you leave, show them your checkbook. Just show them that you got it in your hand. She's writing the check. Okay, come here, please. This young man right here, would you stand up, please?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Turner.
Oh, another doctor. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, Dr. Turner.
Dr. Turner's.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw you digging over there with some money a little while ago, so he's all right. All right. Tell us what your relationship is to Dr. Beverly Norman. Please.
Well, I've known Beverly for a long time. I'm a clinical psychologist. I work with traumatized individuals, and I've been volunteering at Boucher and another school, working with young men and their families, trying to keep them out of the penal institutions. That's our main focus.
Oh, that's beautiful. Keep up the good work, my brother.
I'm trying, my brother.
All right.
I want to share something with you.
Please,
Some of you may
cameraman.
not know it. I spent 31 years at Bryn Mawr. I was there from 1967 to 98. But the most interesting thing is that I was the first black staff member at Bryn Mawr.
Wow.
First black staff member.
I got you.
There were black children there,
But there were
did
no
not
black
have
teachers.
any
I got
black
you.
teachers. They didn't have anybody black except the children.
Isn't that something?
And so I was the first. Then they brought in the social worker Rosetta Brown and
I
other black
remember Rosetta
teachers.
Brown.
Millicent
I worked with her.
Conley. But I was the first, and I stayed until 98. My husband worked there. My kids went there. Family members. It became a family school. I had cousins that were teachers there, and nieces and nephews that worked there. But Bryn Mawr, it was Bryn Mawr. I know about Boucher, but when I was there,
It was Bryn
Mawr.
Did you retire from
And
there?
the last 5 years, I was the principal at Bryn Mawr.
Wow.
When I left in February '98, I went downtown and worked 2 years as assistant citywide director of 2 parent programs, PATFMC, PCTA. And then I retired in 2000. Then I did consulting for 2 years out of DePaul. And my daughter got very ill winter of 2002. So that's just a little bit about it.
All right. You got that, cameraman. Great. Now, I'm not going to disturb her again until she finishes writing this check. Now, does she need an ink pen? Come on, give her an ink pen.
I got it.
Young lady, would you come here, please? She has been helping the whole time that we've been here. She has ran and got a soda and
Cecile
food.
Jones.
Say your name.
Cecile Jones.
Cecile Jones. What is your relationship to Dr. Beverly Norman?
I'm an assistant interventionist for Dr. Beverly Norman at Boucher Academy.
Okay.
All
All right.
And she also assists me in integrating the Black history into our regular subjects along with the art through her experience with Northeastern University and all of the doctors and professors there that she studied with for a long time. So she's been a big help. And she's been an intern with us for about 1.5 years now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She's wonderful.
Go over there where that basket is and get rid of that that's in your hand. First, Lady President, would you come here, please?
Oh, and we wanted to acknowledge Bernita.
Oh, wonderful.
And also Dr. Wiley. He doesn't want to be acknowledged. And Miss Gould.
Doris Gould.
Doris Gould has been really a wonderful person in the school system, working along with us over the years and helping out in different organizations. And I'm so happy to see her today. And Dr. Wiley has written a curriculum to help Black people heal from slavery, and he's taught it to us several times. And he's been here in Chicago finishing his PhD on the messages in the spirituals of the slaves.
Can you come here for a second, please, sir?
That's Dr. Wiley.
You would do such an honor if you would.
He has volunteered for us a lot.
Come on yes.
Yes.
The work you do. Now,
Miss Poole.
Doing a lot of work.
yeah, please. Now, the reason I had you come up here, my brother, is I'm the Minister of Education for the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And our Dr. Beverly just spoke very highly of you in terms of what it is that you do, in terms of what it is that you know. So we're just going to do a little test here. This is the Black History Heritage Club. All right, you ready? You ready? All right, here we go. Question is, when did Abraham Lincoln sign the Emancipation Proclamation?
What year?
Yeah. Anybody?
65.
No. Anybody?
1863.
Moving right along. Moving right along. What purpose did the black church serve to the black community? Name 3 things that the black church. The reason we're asking this question, because you know, some people don't feel as though the black church has been relevant, don't feel that it's relevant today. But because we're dealing with history, we need to look back in our history and see, was it ever relevant? What purpose did the black church serve for the black community?
It was a meeting place.
Meeting place.
Yes?
For the Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad, yes.
Where news was disseminated.
News was disseminated, yes.
And they helped families that were in need.
They helped families that were in need, yes.
They did.
The schools were inside. The fraternities were inside of the black churches and the educational institutions. In fact, the black church came under so much heat because of what it was doing to educate our people until they oftentimes got burned down, shut down. In fact, a lot of the ministers had to leave the South and go to the North because it got kind of hot down there because of what the black church was doing. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to turn this over to our lady president who knows the ins and outs of what needs to happen. And I think you're going to introduce
Bernita.
Bernita.
Just going to do this. Okay.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. V, we call her. Vernita Hunter Williams. I thought I was surprising. I was surprising Sister Norman because
I saw her come in.
But she saw her come in, so they go way back. I let her tell you. She's just gonna have a quick word because she's also celebrating her birthday. So we can sing happy birthday to her on camera, just so because this is all history. And then I'm gonna go sit down. But we thought we would have more children, so since we are all children at heart,
all right.
Every grown up take one of these. It's just they're actually sketches, so you can do your own drawing when you get home. I think a couple of them are colored books with crayons, but this is taking part of this creativity home with us. Yes. All right, so I already did my part of singing and stuff, but let's sing happy birthday to you. Why not? Okay. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bernita. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. And you know what? It's such an honor to be here because Beverly and I go way back. Over there at Horace Mann School. Well, first I was an administrator and in charge of 22 elementary schools in the Chicago Public Schools, and Horace Mann happened to be one of my schools. And then I got the honor to, when they closed the district, to come over, and the principal asked me to come to his school. And I came, and I didn't know you before then, Beverly, or did I meet you at, because that's been like, 30 years ago.
Yeah, we
that's
met at Horace
time ago.
Mann.
But this is one lovely lady I want you all to know, and Yvonne Bennett over there. I worked with her school at Bryn Mawr, and I was in charge of Bryn Mawr. But I retired early, ladies and gentlemen, because my mother passed away, and I was going to ask her, should I retire? And I said, she retired, so I'm a retired. So I've been retired 24 years. But I haven't been sitting on my, I've been working for 49 years now. We've had a high school diploma program for high school dropouts. George is one of the board members, Clyde also. And we've been doing this in the community in Chicago and all over the country. As you see, I have a Howard University t-shirt on. This is my son and my daughter got their bachelor's and master's at Howard. And so I've been all over the country helping people get their high school diploma. And I can say to you that we have many, many PhDs out there who graduated from our school. But this, Beverly, this is so wonderful. And I'm going to make this a field trip for my students to come over. Okay. They need to come over and they need to see what you are doing. We try to open their eyes to everything. And let me tell you, I not only have African American students who graduate, we have many, many Hispanics who've gone through our program, Latinas, and they are wonderful as our African American students are. So it's just an honor and such a surprise to be here in Beverly's home and to see all of this beautiful, wonderful things that are going on, and to be a part of my birthday celebration, because my birthday is Valentine's Day. But I celebrate the whole month of February. And I told George to just come back because I'm going to be at the Hilton Suites. I'm going to be at Wyndham. I'm going to be all over this city and all over this country during February celebrating my birthday, because 75 years is a blessing. When they told your mother, they told my mother I would not live past 6 months. And my mother said, not the God I serve. Hallelujah. And look at how her serving God, and that's why I dedicate my life to helping others. Yes. And I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I got twin granddaughters. Yes. All their life have been UNIA from babies. Yes, wow. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. Right, Mary? They are mascots for UNIA, and they are twin, they're 9. And I want you to know, we just got their report cards, and they got straight A's, both of them. They've been doing straight A's for all the time that they've been in school. So God is good, and they both have won $1 million scholarship to college. Oh, my goodness. So they don't have to worry about paying for it. And this is my little donation.
Oh, thank
okay?
you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much.
So good.
This is such a beautiful place, and I can't wait to bring the students.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
My small story is basically I was in the Air Force, and they flunked me passing a driver's test, and they put me in graphic design. 34 years later, I'm an Adobe certified expert. I know how to edit, film, do 3D animation, websites, all that kind of stuff. So that's digital. This young man here, Mr. Saunders, is fine art. 2 different atoms, 2 different mediums, but it's still art. It's still art. And one day I will have a home as beautiful as this. Put my stuff on the wall. I really like this. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. And we're all honored and blessed to even be in a place like this. And we're getting a certificate done. They're trying to get it together here. And I think Ms. Norman, as soon as they get the certificate in there, we're going to put it in there. Can you get it in there? I don't think she can. How about we just do it later?
Okay.
They're trying to sign it. We'll do it later, Mom? Yes. We'll do it later. Okay.
I'm going to do a real short art demonstration. Anybody come up? Take a look.
You're going to use me as subject.
Georgia?
I'm doing a tree. You're not a tree.
You're right back.
Okay.
Georgia?
I'm going to do a real short demonstration. Everybody wants to see? Come on.
We finish the presentation.
One for you and one for the teacher.
Hey, how are you? Good.
Okay. I've told everybody, anybody can draw. I want to show you how easy it is.
Kirkland. Kirkland.
Okay. Now, no matter where I go, I tell people, to the best of my knowledge, I have never, ever met anybody who can do something that I can't do. I've met a lot of people who do things I don't know how to do, but not that I can't do. If I meet a person and they got 2 eyes like I got, 2 hands like I got, I can do it. Okay? I may not do it as well, or, you know, but I can do it. So let me show you how easy it is, okay? Watch this. The reason I know I can teach anybody to draw is because everybody can pick up this pencil and do this.
No. Come. Get over here. Draw straight.
That's not even straight. Okay. Let me just say draw a line. And if you can do that, you also now watch this. You also can take the pencil, hold it on the side, lay it down, and do this. Okay. Now, if I told you all to draw me a tree,
absolutely.
no leaves, we just want to draw the body of the tree and the branches. You want to draw a tree that's going to look a little bit like.
You know what? You're right about that.
Exactly. Okay. Now watch real carefully.
My mom lived to be 77. But I am so blessed, you know, because I have.
The secret is.
And that's what I didn't think I was going to
that and this.
But my mother said not to die, she served. And I'm proud to say I will be
Now,
70.
you have to draw a line. You go from this to this in a single stroke. This is down to the not this side. Do this and slowly raise up.
Hey, baby, tell her how old you are.
Okay. Now watch this.
Come here, Sarah, give me a hug. Girl, ain't that unbelievable? And she graduated from my school last year.
Yes, last year, and I got them hanging up all over the house. Every time somebody comes, I take my picture.
You should. You should.
Thank you, darling. You look so beautiful today.
Oh, thank you. I got my grunge clothes on though. I got to go take care of beeswax.
That's all right. Take care of the
bees. Yes, in the car, getting the car washed, you know, getting ready for. Now I want you to come with Georgia to anything I have now.
Well, you know, anything she pull out, I can jump on the thing.
You're going to be there, right?
Yes, I'll be
Now,
there.
Okay, good.
this will represent your major branches of the tree. Now, what makes the tree really nice is what it makes it company also. It's at the top, those real thin branches all over there. Don't do this, do this. So that when you're going like this,
I didn't know that was you. Did you over there getting down?
So you get here, you go.
But we enjoyed you so very much. George said, take care.
All you have to do is remember that whenever, just like a tree grows, it grows firm like this before it becomes like this. And you've got to have the stability. So whatever part of the tree that one branch comes off of, that part where it comes off of can't be thick again, where it's going to grow too. So you don't just here.
You got the report
That may be here.
last Thursday.
Here,
here. Shop, and then carry.
Always make sure you come off of, okay, it's not thicker than what you're coming off of.
Let them have a little more taste.
I mean, it's so easy.
I love you,
But you
sweet.
know there's something else now, you know
I got to
that.
see him. I ain't saw him since we went to the
Both take,
program.
and then you get the money.
That day and all y'all.
She'll give you that. Okay? Gotcha.
Even if it comes up,
No, you don't.
let's say you want to read.
I know we got a video.
She set it on that paper right there when we.
I'll have them on my machine. I'll print them out later.
And she
And
put
I'll
it
probably,
down.
I'll go to Walgreens and print.
And when she slid it down,
I'll go to Walgreens
she
and print
just
them out.
walked away and
I'll give them for you, okay?
Okay.
Sure
I got,
did.
She can take some.
Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, good. Read back. Now, what you gonna tell me?
Oh, yeah, take pictures.
I'm listening.
Well, just.
You avoid any mom taking her hand to give you cash. Plain and simple. $75.
Oh, she's gonna take a picture.
Y'all ready?
Come on, Amir.
Victor,
What?
can I get you in this picture? Just a minute.
Okay.
One of the future leaders of Black
right.
America.
And present leaders.
Okay.
Smile, son. Hold that big head up.
You
see that?
So, anything on the bird?
Like me. Give me a hug.
I tell you.
Can I get you that?
Can I get
You're not just
over
doing
here
this
with
here.
her? Can I get
You're doing this. You gotta raise up on it. And it's so easy. Now, can we try to draw a nose?
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. Watch this. Now, everybody can do this. And if you can't, I can teach you. Now, if you can do that, now take that shape there, but turn it upside down and do it this way. And then turn it upside down and do it this way. And then lay it on its side and do it this way.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's the same thing. If you want to might come out. Everybody can do this. Now, I didn't do this. I did this. Now, if you can do that, you can do this. And you can draw a line under there.
He does.
Easy so far? Come back to the center, draw a line. See this and that? Draw this. See this? All you gotta do is round the corner. Is that easy?
That's why they pay you to do what you do.
That's right. That's right.
I need to get change for 50. Do we have 50 in here?
Don't call me mine.
I know. Okay, you don't know what's in here.
I would be touching it anyway.
Huh?
He said they're gone.
Okay, all right, we'll see you.
All right, Doc.
Take care.
That's okay. All right. Take care.
I'm putting, y'all see me, I'm putting 50 in, I got 50 out.
Okay.
So I'm just
We're
gonna
witness.
have- Y'all are witnesses. Now let me go. I gotta have
Till I guarantee him.
I got to show you.
Okay. I'm gonna take future leader of America back to his mother.
Now you know. Now you know.
I know
It's like the old Calumet High School.
He just loved when I did that.
That's a picture.
He loved it.
He loved it.
Malcolm.
Marcus King, Malcolm.
Martin, Harley, Barack, Thurgood Marshall.
Whenever you're ready, Victor.
Huh?
You know the one
Whenever you're ready.
that you were passing around earlier? Was that you? Or was that somebody else?
What was it?
It was, what was it, Harry? The Grave Raptors.
I had to have them rappers.
Was that you?
That's me.
Here's some of my cards and I
Do you
can get
sell
one.
it? Or do you give them?
No, I sell. I don't give none away. That's fair about that, brother. You get your doctor's degree, you got it in the math. If you got it in the math, you go back to school. I got PhD in talking and adding. Maybe not listening. Listen slow. I can add.
Did we count it?
Yeah, count it.
No, I did.
That's what we're giving the
I got the reference.
Okay, the one,
Let me write it down.
Besides the thing
No. The group, was that a real group? Was that a real group picture?
The individual one?
No, the group
Club.
picture.
Yeah, that I put together.
I mean, the group picture. You put it together.
I put it together in the Photoshop.
That's real.
Look at hair. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think that's
You did that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the other one. The other one the other one is
trees.
It's a group of people, but they're different. They have different looks.
Yes. I did that one too.
What is that? Where did you get that from?
You didn't show me the face.
You did that?
He's in prison now.
Okay.
Right behind the tree.
Right.
Yes.
Go over there.
Okay. And who is that? Anyone we know?
You did that?
Just okay.
That's how you did it?
Beautiful black woman. I tell you.
Okay.
Thank you. Love and live. See that. That's
I
wonderful.
guess the art piece.
I got
Today. Nope.
Okay. What do I get for?
Okay, thanks. See you, Amir. Thanks for coming, Amir.
Oh, we're gonna
See you
get
next
awards.
time. The awards.
Amir mighty for me.
And
It's like one of my church sisters.
In the flash drive, that's 20 people.
There's no name there.
He talking about let me just read all that.
Now, which pictures are you going to get?
I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. We have to do the presentation first.
Richard McGee.
We do the presentation first.
Oh, okay.
We'll get it for you.
So which picture do you have in your mind?
Okay, because he looks like a
No, you
golfer.
just said collage. And you're sitting in different people. And
I don't want this individual.
And this is
one
Frank Johnson.
and one is real face.
Right.
So this is $161.
and what's Beverly.
Okay.
Oh, this is
But
Beverly.
you're gonna give you want to throw the other one in for 7?
I guess I'll do that instead. I'll do that.
Oh.
It's that one.
He did stay long enough.
No, but he looks like one of my brothers.
Let's go.
He does look like one of my brothers, but
Let's
he's
go.
not.
We finna do the presentation. You can come on stage. Excuse me. Everyone, we're gonna give this presentation to Beverly Norman. Mom, can you come please?
Okay, get this
I'm
picture.
doing
Where
a
is she?
demonstration, but we got your presentation out the way.
Oh, okay, good.
Come on,
We you and her.
Mom.
Yes.
Come
Gloria
here.
Buckley.
Mom. Georgia, come on, you're the president.
All right, here we
You're
come.
Secretary General. You have to come up.
Children get the awards for
They
the
got they're gone.
Okay,
You got her award.
They're gone.
Yeah, they got theirs.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Well, at least one.
Yes. Left her.
You want us over here?
Right here, Mom. Yes, I'm gonna help him move it.
Do you know where the
Yes, sir.
Bronzeville
That's $5.
clinic is?
Come this way. Come this way. In the light.
Indiana?
Come the way. Come the
You
way.
want to,
I'm gonna get his presentation. Where's the certificate at? Where is it?
but you want to say,
I'm gonna say
Right over
something.
there now, 37.
Well, her daughter.
Okay. Where is it?
Oh, okay, that's why I told her.
Can y'all give me please about 30 seconds of silence? 30 seconds of silence. Both of you. 30 seconds.
All right.
You can read, but you can't hear. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Today, everyone, we are at the second annual art fair at the house of Beverly Norman DeRoald Institute. I bequeathly award this special certificate to Beverly Norman to offering her home and her artists, and especially her local artists give demonstrations, Mr. Sanders. In behalf of Clyde Banks, the president of the UNIA and ACL Division 429, we award Beverly Norman. And now Sister Boda is going to give a financial award.
The money that we raised today is a small token of our appreciation for you, and I think there's more to come because Brother Clyde Banks spread the word for people who could not be here to send the donation. So you will be getting more money.
All right, yay!
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. That's it.
Okay.
All right. You can continue. Awesome. Awesome. Let me shake your hand. Let me shake what I do.
I wasn't expecting this. I'm glad that it came.
In closing,
Yes.
right hand to fist. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Thank you. Now we can socialize and talk.